Welcome to Hey Clarity. I'm your host, Lindsay, and today we're doing an Akashic Records reading on soulmates. The questions that we're going to ask are: what is a soulmate? Why do we have them? What's the purpose? How do we find each other? How do we know if someone is a soulmate or not? And what's the most important message we need to know about soulmates? Let's get into it. What is a soulmate? They're saying a true charm, like a true charm of a person. It's like the connection, they're saying like connection, collection. It's like imagining someone like collecting their favorite things. So it's like a favorite person. And they're like, why? Because there's something more. There's something more there between you. And it's like, it's almost more than a person. So they're like, we walk around the world and it's just like people passing us in our lives, in and out, come and go, whatever. But there's some, they're almost saying, that have like this high standard in your life, this value. You put value on them. You find them, there's a true attraction. And they're kind of saying like connection, collection. So it's like collecting these charms of people. They're just saying it's a true charm. Someone that is like bright and delights you and brings joy, but also like deeper, meaningful connection and conversations. They're this special people in your life, and they're like a special person to you or for you. And it's almost like it doesn't matter how like near or far you are, whether you are, they're saying visibility, whether you see them regularly or not. There's a reason for you to be connected and like have each other on each other's minds. Anything else? What is a soulmate? They just keep saying a true charm. Why do we have soulmates? They just said to get through this. To get through this world. To get through this life. That's why. Anything else? They're like, there is a world. There are other realms, like places beyond our world, this world, Earth. And there are many other people, soulmates, existing in other realms for you. But there's something about like, okay, so when we're in the stars, when we are not incarnated as humans or animals or whatever our reincarnation is, we are together. Like imagine like we're together as stars, as consciousness, as energy, atoms up in the sky. We are like one kind of unit. We're like, we gather together up there and we're together, and then we like drop down to earth, like all over the world. And it's almost like a scavenger hunt to find each other in our lifetime. And it's meant to be like, because we're like doing life together. And some of them you encounter to get you through like a certain part, a certain portion of your life. So this is part of like the coming and going. And some of them may actually be like light and superficial. It's like, it's almost like they're kind of bringing up that we're all walking each other home. It's a bit of that. And so like we pass each other and hold hands down like a certain part of our life, and then maybe we we go and move on, and then we're like, I'll see you up there. So why do we have soulmates? To get through this world, to get through this life. And they're like, no matter what, like no matter what is going on. And that's why it's like those are some of the people who can see you like at your worst, at your ugliest, at your most, like in your deepest pain and suffering. Those like stars that come into your life, forever or for a moment, for a lifetime or for a season, right? It's just like we're these charms, these gems that again like hold our hands and help us through. And I'm getting that they come in the form of people and animals. Our pets are very much soulmates. They're calling. It's like, okay, maybe you're going through a hard time in your life, this portion, and maybe you're having trouble finding your soulmates, the people, the humans, to get you through it. And so then there's the calling for the animal soulmates to come down and be your pets, be your companions. And that's why that's that deeper connection. Your pets are your soulmates. And they're just in a form that better suits or best suits your life in this lifetime. So no matter what type of pet or pets you may have, it's almost like a replacement for a person. If you haven't been in the orbit of your soulmates, the pets, the animal, your soulmates may come down in a form of pet companionship. And that's why we cherish them so deeply. And we may say things like, we may feel as if losing a pet can sometimes almost feel more painful than losing a person, because they are these soul heart centered connections to us, our pets. And they got the call, hey, like one of our soulmates needs help, go down on earth, be the true love, that true charm, that companion to help them through this difficult time. Or maybe it's not a difficult time. Maybe it's just to witness a wonderful time in your life and to be with you, like side by side in like some of the most beautiful experiences of your life. So it can be both. But I'm getting that like they often come down, pets, soulmates, when we're like really struggling with like people and finding our people soulmates. So that also answers what's the purpose of soulmates. They're just saying again, to get through this world. And there's a sense that like, what we might consider like a bad relationship or a toxic relationship, and they didn't start off that way necessarily. But sometimes those are soulmates for sure, they're saying. The intentions are different. And also we might have like the spark at the beginning and then we hold on to it wanting it to last longer, but it's run its course. And so the reason that those relationships get so bad, they're not so bad at the beginning, right? They're exciting, they're fiery, they're passionate, whatever, but they get so bad because we don't know when it's like overdue, when it's time to stop and move on. Like they may have come in as this spark, this ignition, this catalyst for a certain point, but they weren't meant to be like long-term romantic partnerships. They were meant to be a catalyst and then move on. It was meant to be a little bit more superficial, but then we like cling to it because maybe we're not ready, they're saying, for another person or another soulmate, or we think that this is it, or we get really, caught up in the thrill and the impact of that initial spark. But they just wanted to make a note of just like, yes, like, your toxic, bad, what we call, right? Because they don't judge. They are, yes, soulmates, and they're meant to be shorter term, but we hold on too long. And that's when they get really bad. How do we find each other? How do soulmates find each other? They're like, it's vibrational matches. It's kind of like where we're at in our lives, and they're showing almost like this dish or like disc like filled with all these tiny little magnets, and it's like they get magnetized and then they repel, like the force shifts in the little balls and then they repel, and it's like sometimes they stay for longer. So it's this we get magnetized to each other. It is like vibrational. They're vibrational matches. They're saying for what you need at this time in this moment to get through this world, to get through this life, to get through this rough patch, to enjoy this beautiful experience of life together, right? Because it could be, the good, the bad, and everything in between. But they're repeating vibrational matches, like what you need. And they're saying we need each other. And so it's like, and then maybe we don't need each other anymore. The vibrational, the energetic, force kind of shifts, and then maybe it loosens, and maybe it repels, and maybe it just kind of like hangs around. So they're just saying it's like magnetizing. How do we know if someone is a soulmate or not? And they kind of answered that at the beginning, but let's go deeper. How do we know if someone is a soulmate or not? They're like, you find a charming person. You find them to be charming. They are your charms. You're like good luck charms. They're like collective, connective. Anything else? How do we know if someone is a soulmate or not? They just stand out in your life. They're a person who stands out, someone who you're thinking about a lot, someone who maybe you see a future with. You imagine yourselves, getting together and doing things, and you can like see your life unfolding with them. And it could be friendship or, romantic relationships, romantic partnerships. It could be any. They're like on any level. It's that feeling of like, there's something else about this person or this pet, right? You come across an animal, like drops into your path. It's like, yeah, that was a match. That was meant to happen. This animal just came into my life at this very moment. So no matter who it is, it's like, it's that feeling of, I can't walk away. There's something here. I know there's something here. And you just let it play out, allow the playing to unfold. Because I'm getting that, like, when we ignore, like when someone feels right, like a right person for us, we, go and move forward and live on our lives, but we like don't forget. We never forget the experience or the feeling. And so we're almost like forever tied. And so they're like, you might as well explore what this connection is in the moment while you have it in front of you. They're like, you're not really missing anything. Like, you'll reunite one way or another in this world or in other realms. Like, you'll find each other again, this life, next life, whatever. But it is for a reason that you find yourself magnetized. You find them charming. You can't stop thinking about them. And it's like something wants to play out here, right? And it becomes like almost undeniable. And like maybe you start feeling it in your heart and your solar plexus when it's like a love thing. And there are different types of love, right? But I'm just feeling like the romantic love really hits you in your solar plexus. And it does something to your heart. It's just like, oh. Because when our romantic partnerships are soulmates, our soul connections, it activates our power center, our solar plexus, our confidence. And that's when we say things like, oh, this person brings out the best in me, right? This person brings out the best in me. And they're like, and that, can cut the other way, if it's run its course, if it's overdue to, move on from each other, and could bring out the worst in you. So the same that brings out the best in you can bring out the worst in you. It's coming from the same place, the solar plexus, your power center. Anything else about that? How do we know if someone is a soulmate or not? They're like, there's the telepathic connection. Like, that's the part of like, I'm thinking of you. I can't stop thinking of you. Oh my God, like, why am I thinking of this person so much? It's because it's meant to be like, you're meant to have a connection. you're meant to be a person in each other's lives. And so they're like, just do it, just explore it. Um, they are referencing like it is that feeling of like when you don't, down the line, you're like, oh, the one that got away, the one that got away. And like, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like that they're just kind of like a life of regrets. Like you don't want to feel like you missed out on that. And they're saying sometimes we get freaked out when someone activates our heart and our solar plexus so much because we're afraid of being the best that we can be. We're afraid of being powerful. We're maybe used to and comfortable with playing small, with hiding. And they're even saying something about hidden secrets. But they're like, oh my God, like when you and another soulmate in like those love romantic partnerships get together and there's just that force in your heart and your solar plexus, that magnetization is not only for the two of you, but it also magnetizes other people to you. And it inspires them. It kind of adjacently inspires them to want to find theirs. Like it activates other people to find their soulmates, their true charm of a person, they're saying. So it's like, people could see a couple together and be like, I want that. And it's like, good, like, good, good, you want that. Like keep that light on, go find that, go find that. And also know when it stops. They're like, we have the rules and the systems and the contracts and the agreements of like, I'm married and I have to do this and I have to do that. And they're just like, no, you don't. Like, you don't. Like, you enjoy those traditions, enjoy the acknowledgement, enjoy the paperwork. They're laughing. There's like, whatever it is, the systems in your world. But at the end of the day, like, you're not beholden to each other, for long lasting or forever. Like, it's meant to be, and then it's not meant to be anymore. And anything can make that happen, they're saying. Like, when it's time, and that's part of like this growth. They're saying like you grow into the journey, right? You grow into your life, and at different stages and chapters of your life, you're a different person. So are they. So what you're actually doing when you stay together is you're hindering each other from growing and learning and moving forward and enjoying their lifetime, the rest of their lives. They're like, for both of you, right? And that's also the same thing. They're like friendships. And then they're going into like our pets, like our animal companions. There's more of an innocence usually to when these are done, and it's quite literally just the body, the physical body of your pets, they're kind of saying weathered from their lifespan of that chosen pet body, animal body. And it's literally just the deterioration, the quality of living on Earth. And so there's more of an, like these natural instincts. They're saying it's like the natural death, time is over. And they're like, it's even, think about the pet companions that you've had in your life, and think about when they came into your life and when they passed away. And they want you to look at that time together as a chapter in your life and all the lessons you learned and how they were with you throughout that time. And they're like, you may notice pivotal experiences of when that animal came into your life and when they left. And they're saying it is very important. Animals respond to a calling to help you get through this world, to get through this life. Let's just kind of reiterate, like, okay, so how do you know someone's not a soulmate? They have like no resonance with you, no impact. You're not really intrigued or interested. And Yeah, it's no big deal. They are like no big deal in your life. Basically, you're like they could come or go. Um, yeah, but there's even a sense that someone could have felt again like a soulmate at the beginning, and then that changes, and then they become like, oh, you can come or go, and it's like that soulmate connection served its purpose. Next. What's the most important message we need to know? Actually, I want to ask one more question. What are common misconceptions about soulmates? They're like together forever. They're like, hell no. They're like, a lifetime is long and we live many lifetimes. Um, and the together forever together in this world is like one thing. Like, they're like, you're together forever, like in other realms, like in heaven, in the stars. Like, you're together forever up there. They're like, we all are. Like, we're all together forever up there. Here is like, you have to know when something is done, when a relationship, a connection no longer serves you, when it's time to say goodbye. If you are in constant pain and suffering, if you are miserable, if life is harder with this, you know, relationship person, it doesn't feel so much about pets, but they're like, no, it can be. It can be pets too. Kind of like things just serve their purpose. It's not together forever. Um, you know, you might have one in a lifetime. They're like, you might have a once in a lifetime soulmate connection. And in this lifetime, we consider this forever, right? Because the end from a certain point in your life until the end of a lifetime. And so in that way, it is together forever, because then you pass away and you exit and you go back up and you're up there and in the stars together again, in other realms together again. So it's not, you don't have to be necessarily together forever in a lifetime in this life, in this world, in this body. We all are together forever when we're up there. So they're just like, you just come down and you reincarnate and you change masks, you change faces, you change embodiment, you change, you're an animal, you're a person, like all the different things. um, And they're saying another common misconception is like, you think because you have a soulmate, you need to stay together. And they're like, no, like you're not supposed to be suffering together. Like, the purpose of it is to help each other get through life. What's the most important message we need to know about soulmates? What is the most important message we need to know about soulmates? It's like, go be it. Go be it. Go be the best for it. Like, be a great soulmate. When you find your true charm of a person, when you find your soulmates, like, show up for each other. You know, really like highlight what you love about each other. Um, they're like, nurture, like take care of each other, like do things together, like enjoy, really be present and enjoy the moment and enjoy the times you have together when you're together, to really just get the most of the soulmate bond connection. Like, it's just like the way that, you know, we come into contact with each other and we're like, something's here. And then there's like this merging of our lives, these mergings of our worlds. And they're like, really just like enjoy it. Like, let it embody you, embody each other. And they're like, it's not this kind of psychological conversation about enmeshment, but there is a presence and an appreciation and a gratitude for the time that you have together. So if someone is important to you, highlight that, you know, like let them know, let yourselves be together, let yourselves see where it goes, see where it takes you, and know when to stop when it's no longer supportive, when it's causing great pain or suffering in your life and the lives of others, because that's what happens, right? When we're in toxic or bad relationships, it doesn't only affect us, but it affects people who witness us. Energetically, it affects people who are around us. We can all feel each other. Um, And then even that kind of like brings out the worst in us. It brings out the worst in us. It brings out the worst in like, society and people around us. And again, our relationships equal social health. You know, you know, all of your most immediate, intimate relationships, if they're doing well, generally speaking, then you're walking in the world in like a good place, in a healthy, well place. If they're not, you're not. And that is also aggravating and magnetizing and like makes more of that. It's kind of like it's all pretty energetically contagious. So you want to have those good relationships and you want to get out of the ones that have run their course. Ooh, they just said as fast as you can. Interesting. They're like, know when it's over. Know when it is done. Know when to say, let's not make this any worse. Let's not make this any harder for ourselves. Know when it's time to say goodbye. And that's for all of our soulmates, right? They're like the innocence of our pets passing. We have the gift of being able to give them peaceful, easeful exits through modern medicine. We're able to gift that to our animals. They're like, not a person, not usually for people. We cling and we don't want to let go. But they're like, you can do that too. Kind of giving each other permission to let go, and it's all like, I'll see you soon. I'll see you eventually. I'll see you someday. And they're like, that is real. Like, we'll see each other someday, not in these forms, not in these faces again. And I think it's like tricky because it's like, how will I recognize you? And they're just like, how it feels, the true charm of a person and this connection that you have, constantly thinking of each other. Okay, so that was the Akashic Records on Soulmates. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know how that's landing for you, how that may, change your mind at all about anything you thought about soulmates before. Just curious. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.